Hello everybody, welcome back, and I am TheChornick, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about Takagi-san, Season 2, Episode 9. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, I really like this episode. One of the best of Season 2 in my opinion. Episode 7 was still a bit better. I still think that's the king right now, but Episode 9 was definitely up there as one of the best. So if you have not seen this episode, please go see it. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. You know what I'm talking about when you go and watch it because it's just amazing. And especially after Episode 8 last week, which in my opinion was really bad. I didn't like it. It was kind of boring to watch. It didn't really make me smile. I just didn't like it. Sure, a couple good scenes, had some nice little dialogue moments and like little moments here and there for a split second, but overall Episode 8 was just trash to me. Like, it was just not that entertaining, not that interesting or happy to watch. It was just kind of boring compared to a lot of the other episodes, which just have a lot more pureness to them, you know what I mean? So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, in this episode, I really liked a bunch of little different things that they did, especially with the overall theme that happened towards like the middle and then towards the end, with what would happen if Takagi was depressed and that she acted differently. You know, how would Nishikata react to this? Initially, I thought that she was just acting that way because maybe she moved on or something like that, where she's just like tired of teasing him and he's not getting the hints, so she's just moving on. I thought the writers were actually going to go down that route when I first saw her acting all weird and strange. But fortunately for Nishikata, that's not the case. It's just that she's depressed and about having some huge argument with her mom. I guess so big though, it impacted her so much that she ended up being depressed the entire day and phasing out and not teasing Nishikata at all, and Nishikata noticed this. So a really interesting concept, a really interesting story to go with in this regards, made by the writers. So we'll delve mainly into that main plot, that main point of this episode, is what happened in the middle and towards even the end. Of course, there's a lot of other great moments in this episode, even all the side characters, you know, those three girls and even Nishikata's friends, as well as especially the big friend, Kimura, I believe his name is. He had really nice comedic moments throughout this episode as well, so we'll definitely talk about that. But besides those good moments, the main thing I like to really focus on is the fact, and what really made this episode really good, was the fact that how Nishikata treats Takagi, and we get to see inside the mind of Takagi, you know, her own problems and, you know, what she's thinking when she's talking to Nishikata, stuff like that, and that which was really awesome and gave us more insight on Takagi, right? And plus, Nishikata also scored 2 pretty nice critical hits and made Takagi blush a couple times. So she was depressed, right? And Nishikata notices this, and he just decides not to, you know, use this box thing, which by the way is another bonus points because that was back in episode 1, I believe, of season 1, where he made this box thing, like kind of like a Jack in the Box, and he was using this planning to scare Takagi with it. Of course, he ends up not giving it to her because he notices that she's really sad, that she's not acting her normal self, and so he's like, maybe this is just not a time to give her this box, you know, I don't want to make her even more upset. But after, you know, when school is over, she walks home and she just says bye, and Nishikata's like, okay, something really is up. Eventually, when he's walking back home, he's thinking about her, and then he sees her bike, right, off in this like little sanctuary area. So he decides to investigate, and then he finds Takagi there, staring off into space, you know, looking really depressed and sad. And of course, Nishikata is thinking to himself, like, should I just leave her here? Should I just not bother her? I mean, I feel like I'd be rude if I, you know, stayed here. But before he left, he dropped the box that he was going to give Takagi, you know, the little Jack in the Box thing. It, you know, fell on the floor, and she picked it up and opened it. She started smiling, and she was looking at this, and she gets cheered up essentially by seeing that, you know, Nishikata made this for her, is trying to scare her, trying to get back at her. She's just really happy with it. She starts laughing. And we as an audience already know that Nishikata is one of the things that makes her really happy. I mean, that's why she likes him. And we get to see more of this being emphasized in this episode, especially because she's like depressed, and, you know, who's gonna cheer her up? What's gonna cheer her up? Well, Nishikata, obviously. So big points to my boy Nishikata making some gains, you know what I mean, in this episode. So awesome for that standpoint. But we get to see that, yeah, like, she sees that, you know, he made this for her, and he took the time to make this for her, and she even asked him if he walked all the way here just to show her this. And he was like, no. And then she was surprised by that, and he was like, well, you were acting really strange. You're not teasing me at all today, and I didn't know what was up. I noticed that something was different about you. And of course, this hits Takagi even more because, like, it obviously shows her that Nishikata's thinking about her and knows when she's not acting her normal self. So of course this, hits Takagi even more, and she gets really happy and she gets cheered up because, he's comforting her and that, like, she sees that he cares, and it's just a really pure moment. And then she asks him to stay a little longer because obviously he makes her feel good, and that's the reason why she likes him. So really good moment right there, and that definitely sold me as one of, like, the best episodes of season 2. It was right there. But then we get to the really juicy stuff, which happens later towards the end of the episode, especially when they were texting each other through their phones. And Nishikata is just texting his friend Kimura, the big dude. Of course, we have some comedic moments throughout that last scene with him, but the biggest part of the texting phone thing, and if you guys were watching the subs and you didn't know why Nishikata was freaking out when Takagi asked him if he likes steaks, and he replied saying, "I like them," okay, because apparently, as far as my knowledge goes in, like, the Japanese language, I believe that saying "I like them" is almost the same way as saying "I like you." So that's why he was like, oh shoot, I shouldn't send this because it looks like I'm confessing my love. So apparently saying "I like them" in Japanese could be interpreted as saying I like you. And so that even hits harder later when Takagi says "I love them" to when he asks her about kissing. And he asks her if she likes kissing, and I'm like, my boy, he knows what's gonna get her. And I was really surprised by this, because he was sitting there, like, wondering, how is he gonna get Takagi, how is he gonna embarrass her and whatnot. And so he's just, like, sitting there and he's twitching his eyebrow, and finally he thinks of it. He knows what to do. He sends her, what do you think about kissing or whatever, or, like, do you like kissing or whatnot. And she looks at it, and we see her reaction to it and her, like, freaking out, and then she falls back on her bed, like, not knowing how to reply to it. And she's starting to blush and stuff, and Nishikata's sitting there, like, no replies yet from Takagi, and he's just sitting there, like, wondering, okay, what's going on? Like, she's not replying. Oh my god, this is embarrassing now, because he's overthinking. Of course, he won in this instance. He got her. I mean, she reacted to it. She, like, overthinking how to respond, but Nishikata's now overthinking, like, oh my god, now this is embarrassing, she's gonna think blah blah blah, and it's just like, Nishikata doesn't understand and he never knows when he actually gets a critical hit on Takagi. It shows it even in this episode, like, twice. He did it, like, 2 or 3 times, and, like, my boy doesn't really hit that many times. It's not very accurate, but when he does, he hits hard. I mean, dang, like, he has some critical hits. But in this episode especially, he hit, like, a couple times, so it's being a little bit more frequent. So because it looks like this is episode 9, right? So we probably only have a couple episodes left. Likely things are going to start speeding up, and then maybe they're going to be dating by the time it hits episode 12, which is probably going to be the last episode. So only 3 more episodes probably after this, sadly. I don't think there's going to be a season 3, and if it is, well, it obviously would be like the next year or maybe later. Maybe it would be an anime about them being adults or something, you know what I mean? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, going back to the phone thing, she's wondering if he is thinking about kissing and thinking that kind of stuff. And so she kind of gets up and walks towards the door. She's wondering if he's blushing or whatnot. And then she's like turns to the camera, and some people think this is like her breaking the fourth wall. But I think she's just still talking to herself, but she kind of looks behind her shoulder and she's like, not that I'm the one to talk, because she's blushing, like she's like trying to get him to admit that he's blushing, but yet she's blushing. So it was just a really pure moment. It was cute, and it was just a great episode overall. And we really get to see, like, Nishikata really cheered Takagi up, because, I mean, he is one of the main things that makes her happy. So it was really, really just nice to see that. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, post it in the comment section below your thoughts and feelings about this episode. Overall, I really, really liked it. Awesome, fantastic, especially when it got in the middle and towards the end with the whole Nishikata cheering up Takagi and seeing more of the mind of Takagi in this episode and her own reactions to the things that he says and does. It was really, really nice to see all that good stuff. So I hope that the next couple episodes are as amazing or even better than this. because I would really appreciate that. I really like this anime, and I would like it to keep going strong. If you guys would like to see me do more Takagi-san episode reviews, please post it in the comment section below and hit the subscribe button. I love your faces. Can't wait to see you next one, and peace off. Thank you very much.